Now, before I give you guys a recap regarding who Michael is and why we are here, right now, okay, we're going to read a letter that Michael's wife decided to write to the judge. Now, this is Michael all the way from the very first season of 90 Day Fiancé with his wife, Aziza, the woman that was from Russia, okay? Now, for the people who do know, this man has been arrested, okay? And and right now we're on a process of waiting to find out how many years he's going to be convicted for, because there's still a few things going on. But she decided to write this letter where she says, "Dear Judge, I am writing to you regarding my husband, Michael. In the light of his recent conviction, my name is Aziza and I am his wife of 11 years. I have known him for over 12 years and I can assure you that his conviction is not a reflection of his true character. Mike is a loving father, a caring husband, a loyal friend, and overall a good and kind person." Yeah, okay. Somebody that's a good and kind person would have never got arrested for the crimes that he committed, okay, towards children. All right, so bear that in mind, folks. "I met him in 2012 on a learning website where I was studying English language. I am originally from Russia, but moved to the United States over 11 years ago to be with Mike. We had to overcome a lot to be together, and we've built a beautiful family over the years. Yes, the family that clearly he did not care enough about to change his disgusting ways. But hey, we get to that information. We have a 5-year-old daughter together. And to be honest, if I had a child of him, I would want to keep her as far away from him as possible personally. But we continue. Her name is Olivia, and Mike is a very involved parent. She is very attached to Mike, as he is a very loving and caring dad. They they go on father-daughter dates all the time. They share hobbies like collecting rocks, making bread from scratch, and reading books together. They have their own little routines every day. Well, the routine that the father ruined, clearly. He always wakes her up in the morning, and he is the one that puts her to bed at night. Well, not anymore, sadly so. Well, no, rightly so, because it's a disgusting piece of But we continue. I do apologize. I should really keep this professional, but hey, it is what it is. It breaks my heart that my daughter will not have her father in the full capacity, and I know it would disturb her life greatly not having him around. Well, that's something that he should have thought about. He would do anything for his daughter, and it absolutely kills him that he will have to be apart from her. Well, that's kind of a lie, because if he was going to do anything with his daughter, he would have stopped doing exactly what he was doing. Yeah, but we'll get there. Mike is my family and the closest person that I have, and I cannot imagine my life without him. Well, sadly, he could imagine his life without you, because he has a kind soul and he never shies away from helping anyone. Yeah, helping people online download things involving children. Yeah, definitely never shies away from helping people. He is very close to his parents and his sister. They have a very strong relationship. He is a rock to his family in so many ways. And this traumatic experience with his trial and the conviction has left us all shocked and heartbroken. Yeah, the traumatic experience. Yeah, let's just talk about that traumatic experience, because I promise you now, you're not the only one that has been traumatized from this experience. There's people out there that have been traumatized far worse because your husband was a part of some madness. My family is being torn apart by him, and I know that he has been tortured by his feelings of guilt and regret for his irresponsible mistake that he's made. Now, I want you to remember that she said that he has been tortured by his feelings of guilt and regret of irresponsible mistake that he's made. All right, cool. Remember that, because boy, yeah, we're gonna dig deep into that one in a second. I greatly appreciate the time you are taking to read this letter, and kindly ask you to take this information into consideration when determine your sentencing for this case. Now, let's talk about the sentencing. Why did she write this letter to the judge? Why is she trying to, plead with him to give her husband, a sentencing that will not take him away for too long? Well, let's get into that. As you can see right here, prosecutors want 90 Day Fiancé's Michael to serve 20 years. That's why she's writing the letter, because she knows 20 years is a long time. At the time he comes out, their little girl will be 25. She'll be a grown-ass child, and if anything, she's probably not going to want to have anything to do with him. I mean, listen, I'm sure obviously she would do her as she can over the years to keep her daughter in contact with her father, but let's be real. When she knows what her dad went down for, yeah, that's going to be a hard one to stomach. But nonetheless, though, let's get into the nitty-gritty and the details of stuff in particular. Now, for the people who missed out earlier this year, Michael was found guilty of 2 charges of child. This is why I kept mentioning children. As a result, the prosecutors in the case want to throw him behind bars for 2 decades. They want to punish him for the crime, and also for failing to accept responsibility. Now, remember when in the letter she says right here, okay, that he has been tortured by his feeling of guilt and regret for the responsible mistake that he's made. That's the problem, isn't it? He does not regret it, and he does not take accountability for this. And he has not taken responsibility. But here it says that he has been failing to accept responsibility. He may have admitted to the crimes, but admitting to something is not the same as accepting that you have done wrong. But let's continue, because now there's some more new information here as well. Okay. Now, as you can see, it does say that prosecutors do want to bring in a federal judge to sentence Mike to 20 years. Now, here's the thing. Although his lawyers argue that Mike just performed generic internet searches, law enforcement became aware of his behavior through an undercover agent. So clearly somebody was online being undercover and obviously caught him red-handed. So yeah, that generic internet searches, it wasn't just that, it was more than that. It was darker than that. It was deeper than that. Disgusting as hell. Now, obviously here, as you can see, it does say that he says that Michael basically sent an officer dozens of files which allegedly included sadistic content and, oh my goodness gracious me, I can't believe I have to read this, rape of victims as young as a year old. A freaking newborn child, for goodness sake. Hasn't even developed. Additionally, the feds accused him of transmitting over 63K files, of some of which contains sadism and menism. I probably said that wrong. I do apologize. It also says here that in a voluntary interview, Michael maintained his innocence while also admitting to sharing this type of content for 20 years. He claimed he would delete the content after viewing it, but the Fed still found thousands of images on his computer. Clearly, his excuses were contradictory. Okay. Now, just also to add here as well, it also says here that federal prosecutors explained these offenders do talk to each other via the internet, and they are concerned enough about the law enforcement that they encrypt their hard drives, seek foreign websites, and use anonymous phone apps in an effort to prevent detection. There is much to be gained by a significant sentence increase safety for our children. And that's something that I agree with. I think 20 years sounds about freaking right, to be honest with you. I mean, you look at how much drug dealers get given, they get given a lot, and let's not forget at the same time, the saddest thing about it is that when sex offenders do get arrested, and then when they do get released, they get new identities, new freaking names, which again, I will never understand. New names to roam around and basically start doing the madness. Oh, the new names, but hey, drug dealers, yeah, they will serve sometimes twice the amount of time. And then they'll come out, try and actually do a better thing for their lives, but they can't do it because they can't even get a job because they have to use the same thing they used before. Which, listen, respectfully, that obviously has to be how it is because your employer must know your history. Which is why, if you have been arrested for something that involves children, whether you have been in physical contact or you are simply downloading or transferring images of somebody, your name, that's something that your employer should know 100%. People need to know who the hell they are putting in their business, okay? If you're gonna get a job in the supermarket, when parents walk in there with their children, they need to know. I mean, when they need to know who's working. Sorry, my apologies. I'm ranting. I'm losing my shiz. Let me refocus here. My apologies. Okay. What I was meant to say was, if somebody is going to apply for a job to work in a supermarket, okay, it is very important that the supermarket knows who they are employing, because I'm pretty sure a supermarket will not employ somebody that has history of doing madness around children, because they know that the customers that they're going to have are going to be parents coming with their children, and sometimes some children come in there without even their parents as well, and they would not want somebody who's got this type of history to be working somewhere where kids go to on a freaking basis, especially if it's a candy shop as well. Come on, get the hell out of here. Now, listen, let's just go back to this whole letter here, okay? Let's just go back a little bit here, okay? So here's the thing. I don't know why this woman thinks it's okay to write this letter to try and get this man to avoid 20 years. Because the thing is, why do you want your daughter to be around him? This man has failed you as a husband. He has failed his child as a daughter. He has failed his friends as a friend. And he has failed his parents as a son. Okay, unless, of course, he is the way he is because his parents didn't raise him right. Because people like this, sometimes their behavior, it does come from a traumatic experience. So maybe his parents were part of why he became this way. So you know what? F the parents, just in case. You never know, okay? Because a lot of the times when we come across stories of people who do such messed up things, we ignore the fact that whatever prompted this person to do these things is potentially a reflection of this person's past. Let's never forget that. Okay, and that's something that is very, very key for us to always remember and to never, ever forget. As far as I'm concerned, it is so sad that we live in this world. But this man, in my opinion, 100% should serve 20 years. I mean, I'll be damned if the way I look at it personally, if you're somebody that's been on the internet, now obviously there's no information about him doing anything physical to a child, thank God. But as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to go on the internet and do a whole complete madness, I think first and foremost, while you're in prison, you're definitely going through some therapy to find out why the hell you are this way. Because at the end of the day, when you do come out of prison, we don't want this person to relapse. Because boy, we want our children safe. Relapsing could be one of the worst things possible. So therefore, it is very, very crucial and very, very important that hopefully he goes through some sort of rehab thing. But sadly, they don't do that anymore, or rarely do that anyway in prison. So yeah, that's wishful thinking. But also on top of that, to be honest with you as well, at the same time, it is good to get someone like him off the streets. Like I said before, people who sell drugs usually get more time, you know, and sometimes it's just them selling them, not actually even doing anything to anybody else, if you know what I mean. So yeah, the law needs to be fixed. It's too much lack of justice that is carried out properly. But nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts. Would you be in a position where you would want to still support your husband and still write a letter because you want him to be at home so he can be there to help you raise your child? Which again doesn't make any sense to me, because how could you look at such a person? The fact that she still wants to be with this man, that blows my mind. The fact that you would be happy leaving this man with your kid, you'd be happy allowing him to change. Well, obviously it's too late for changing nappies now, but you know what I'm saying. You'd be happy for him to have one-on-one communication. You'd happy to have his phone in his hand, which is gonna have a camera on it. Lord knows if he's ever sent pictures of his freaking child to anybody. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna go now. This shit pisses me off. I'm out. Peace.